Hey guys, how you doing? It's John Kevin here. Today is June 25th, 2025. Sitting out on the back deck of my house. Um, just got out of work and just wanted to shoot another video. Sipping on some water out of my Amogus cup, Amogus mug that I made at this pottery thing. I didn't make the cup, I just painted it, and then they blasted it in the oven and everything. But yeah, this is the red, and then this is the blue on the other side. It's pretty sweet if you ask me. Today, I wanted to touch on the topic of when will you be ready? Yeah, at least let me double check. Yeah, that's the topic I want to touch today. When will you be ready? The reason I wanted to talk about this is I think mostly because of me starting this YouTube channel, this podcast of sorts. It's something I've always wanted to do, honestly. And I admittedly have an old podcast back in 2023 for a podcasting class that I took at college. But since then, it's always been something on the back of not really in the back of my mind, but it's something that I think about every now and then of starting something, and then it's like, oh, but I'm not ready yet, or oh, I don't have a following, or you make reasons as to why you're not ready. But I think that's the point. I think the point that I want to really dive deep into is the fact that when are you ever going to be ready? Ready, I think, is subjective. Of course, there's some things in life. The readiness varies depending on the context and what you're talking about, but at the end of the day, if you use readiness as your readiness for something as a reason that you're not ready for something, then that's kind of you're setting yourself up for not being able to ever do it, or not ever feeling like you're ready, right? And again, this is, I think the whole idea behind this podcast of sorts is that I pick a topic, I think, and then I just kind of go off on tangents or whatever. It's just a stream of consciousness, really. And honestly, it's more so for me. I know maybe it won't necessarily jive with everyone. Of course, it won't jive with everyone, but I think that, well, I hope it resonates with at least someone out there, right? The words that I'm saying. Because I think if I can at least impact one person, and I think this is something that this was a mindset I've always been in, is that if I can impact at least one person in a positive way, then I think I'd be pretty content. But yeah, when will you ever be ready? Truthfully, I think you just have to start. Like this podcast, me shooting these videos in front of a camera, me sitting in front of my phone camera shooting these videos. I'll admit that I don't think I'm ready yet, or I still have these nagging thoughts in the back of my head, like, oh, you're not ready, you're making a fool out of yourself, you're embarrassing yourself, and because I'm human, I'm not infallible. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to be able to reflect on things that you want to do in your life, right? and just take the initiative, take the action, take the first step toward achieving what you want and what you think would make you happy. In this instance, for me, it's interesting because at the end of the day, I know nothing lasts forever. I know that we all are going to die one day, right? And our memories will fade into history eventually. I think it's in Spanish culture, right? Day of the Dead, or honestly, it's just I think of the movie. I think it was Coco, right? I'll have to double check after this. But that movie about Day of the Dead and the concept that you die twice. You die twice. Once your physical body, and the second time once the last time someone remembers you. I'm going on a lot of different tangents, I realize. And I think honestly this is a good exercise for me to find, like, stray a little bit but get back to the point, right? Get back to the point. And the point of this video, at least, is when you'll be ready, or when are you ready? When am I ready? I don't want to make things too complex with these videos and me exploring these ideas. But it can really be, anything in life can be really as simple or complex as you make it, right? I remember literally just yesterday, I published something on LinkedIn, or I posted something on LinkedIn about all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? I'm sure you've heard of that saying. But it's a pretty silly post, honestly, because I tried to dig deeper into it and then I backtracked, went on a tangent, lost my train of thought, and realized that at the end of the day, it's very simple, right? Sometimes you just have to take things at face value, because at the end of the day, it's not that deep. Like, life is really not that deep. It's not as complex as we make it. Sure, if you get down into the weeds of things, it can become more complex. But I think at the end of the day, it all goes back to the one main idea. And this, I think, can be attributed to anything in life. Like running, you just put one foot in front of the other, right? Same thing with walking, you put one foot in front of the other. It's all these different variations of the same idea. And I think it's interesting that I think of walking or running because, like I think I said earlier in this video, is that you just have to take the first step, right? And I guess this is my first step and I don't have any expectations of, becoming having a super big following. Really, this is more so for myself to watch in the future and for my close friends, really. And then if it gains traction, it gains traction. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? And it's not like I think I have a lot of interesting things to say and I'm like like you should listen to me and everything, right? But at the same time, that's kind of contradictory because I'm shooting these videos and posting them online for the world to see. But I think at the end of the day, everyone has some kind of story worth sharing. Every life has meaning. Every life is beautiful. Every life is a miracle, as my good friend Caleb keeps reminding me that life is a miracle. Being able to sip on some nice tap water an August Cup on your deck as the day winds down is a beautiful thing. It really is. I think this one won't be too long of a video, right? I think this one is just a simple video to touch on the idea of when will you be ready? And the answer is you'll never be ready. You just have to trust in yourself to take that first step. Take the first step and trust that you'll get back up if you fall. Because at this point, up to this point in life, you haven't stayed on the ground after a fall. You've always come back up, right? You've made it this far. And the race is not over yet. But the race is also against yourself. It's not against anyone else. Something that comes to mind every now and then is that you are not in a race with anyone else but the person you were yesterday. You're not trying to be anyone else, but you're trying to become a better version of yourself every day. At least that's what I strive to do every day, right? Of course, it's not linear. You're not becoming an objectively better person every day, right? But I think that I am becoming better every day in the sense that I learn something new every day, or I strive to at least learn something new every day. I strive to gain new experiences in life. And I try to live in the moment. Try to live in the moment. It's funny because I've honestly found myself listening and re-listening to these videos I've been posting out in an AirPod at work. Just, again, kind of tying back to the fact that I kind of post these for myself to listen to. It's interesting. Maybe it's a little borderline narcissistic, but I don't think it's like an unhealthy amount of narcissism. I know it is a little narcissistic, but I don't think. I think everyone is like to some level narcissistic, and I think everyone is selfish at the end of the day, right? Because, like I said, we're all racing against ourselves, but in that lens, we're all also trying to do what's best for us, right? Even I like to think that I do things because I care about other people, and I do care about other people, but at the end of the day, I care about other people, and I care for other people's happiness because making other people happy makes me happy, right? It's something that I kind of talk with my therapist about here and there. The fact that, everyone is selfish at the end of the day, so try not to think too deep about it. And I'm saying this, but I really should be telling this. I'm saying this as a reminder to myself to not really think too deep about it. If anything, it reminds me that just because you're selfish doesn't mean that you can't care about other people, right? Yeah. I think that wraps up today's short little video. When will you ever be ready? I think I said that like 5 minutes ago. I said 5 minutes ago I'd wrap up, but truthfully wrapping up now. You're never gonna be ready. You just have to take the first step. See you guys.